All right. Good morning, everyone. Uh, my name is Denike Olakwiton, and I'm the founder of Qualitytechies. I'm glad to be part of another software testing bootcamp. Thanks for joining. I can see that people have already indicated. Some joined from Lagos, Nigeria, South Africa, Eket, Nigeria, and so uh, some other locations. Welcome to the software testing bootcamp. I would like to tell you a bit about what Quality Techies is. So Quality Techies is a community beyond code. So it's a community that builds excellence in software testing. And software testing is one of the safest routes that you can migrate into IT. So I'll say you should pat yourself on the back, and I'm wishing you congratulations because you have made a very rightful decision by joining the software testing bootcamp. So I would like to highlight briefly who we are. So like I said, we are a comprehensive software quality assurance organization. So right now, what we currently offer is on scholarship. So, in as much that we know you're building your career journey in software testing, it's very vital that you join a community. And Quality Techies is that community that you can join and grow. You have access to so many professionals, you have access to so many mentors that can guide you through your career journey. As a professional in quality assurance, um, I don't want any of you to make any mistakes that we've made in the past. I want you to learn from all our challenges so that you can build a very strong foundation in software testing. So some of our key achievements is we've been able to run several trainings. This should be the fourth training. So this community is not only built for people that are transitioning into IT, it's also for those quality assurance or software testers to upskill. I know so many people out there, they have so many years in software testing and they've not been able to build on their automation skills. So subject quality techies is that community where you can bring your skills to limelight. You have the opportunity of building strong connection and strong relationship here at Quality Techies. So some of the trainings that we've conducted in the past is Introduction to Software Testing, and this is the second edition. We've conducted trainings on Introduction to API Testing, then Cypress training. So there are also other upcoming trainings that are coming after this. Of course, this is focused on the beginner level. By next month, we'll be delving into database testing. So I want to encourage you to always create time to join some of these trainings. Yes, you might be a beginner right now, but you are just learning along the way. So many things that will be taught, they might seem advanced, but mere listening prepares you for the journey ahead. So we are community builders, we are knowledge enablers, and quality champions. So we believe in Quality Techies, that this community has been put all together for you, not to just be an average uh, professional or to be at an average skill level, say like 50%. We want you to be at 100%. So whenever you're stopped on the way and some other people ask you where you got trained, you can proudly say, yes, you got trained at Quality Techies on a funded scholarship. And whenever you are employed into that office space, you bring in your 100%, like you don't settle for less. So I would like to tell you that some of the key things that you need on this career journey is, number one is commitment. You have to be committed. Then aside that, you have to be hardworking. Nothing comes easy in this life, and you are in charge of building successive rocks for your achievement in life. So you have to be determined and committed. So don't ever settle for less. Make sure that you're 100%. And this is a community. Make sure you open up in the community, be open-minded to learn. Of course, I know there are people on this call that they are not newbies. They've been in software testing for quite a number of years. So this training is also to get you refreshed. So many people have been in quality assurance space and they've not done their certification like ISTQB. So this is also a refresher course for you to also attend interviews. Things that will be learned here, they are the foundational knowledge that you need. So when you get, I know so many people, they've been so busy and right now they're rusty, but you attend this meeting, make you refreshed on the building blocks of software testing. So the first thing I mentioned was you being committed and you being determined to make it in this career path. Another thing I want you to take notice of is that don't let money be your motive for transitioning into quality assurance testing. What is most important is that you build relationship. So that as you're on this course, make sure that you build strong connection. You might never know, the next person that is in your team might be the person that will open up that opportunity for you. So in this training, let me quickly take you through the training schedule. So in week 1, we shall be delving into software testing fundamentals, introduction to functional testing, what is software testing, purpose of software testing, quality of a good tester, differences between QA and QC. You can take a screenshot of this to have it with you. Then week 2, we shall be having software development life cycle, testing levels. Week 3, we have testing plan and testing 2. Week 4, we have test deliverables, test cases, test plan. Then after all the training, we shall be having a capstone project. So in this capstone project, there will be a team lead that will be assigned for each group. And after completion of the capstone project, you are eligible for a certificate. And take note that this certificate doesn't come free if you are not committed in your group. Of course, there will be evidences of your commitment, whatever you have, whatever part you have played in that group, there will be documentation for that. So, and another thing is attendance. Make sure that you attend the classes. If you won't be able to attend classes, there are mentors on this group. I'll still share it on the WhatsApp channel. If you've not been added to the WhatsApp channel, you can indicate in the chat section. I'll add you there. So in case you won't be available for the class, drop a comment with one of the mentors on the channel. Of course, there will be video shared on YouTube that you can have access to and rewatch to track any of the missed sessions. But don't make it a constant practice for you not to attend meeting, because if you are live in the session, you can always raise questions which can be attended to instantly. So let me briefly introduce our guest speaker for today. His name is Akinbola Odetoyinbo. So I earlier mentioned that always ensure that you make strong connection with people. So throughout my career journey, Akinbola, myself and Akinbola worked in First Bank, and trust me, it's he is a very talented professional in software testing. So he has worked in diverse banks. Currently, he's working in Stanbic IBTC as a QA lead. Just give me a moment while I bring up his profile. All right. So Akinbola is an accomplished senior quality assurance engineer who have been in the technology industry, particularly software testing, for a decade. With extensive experience in software testing, test management, and quality assurance, he has successfully contributed to the delivery of high-quality digital solutions within the financial services sector, including his current role as Stanbic IBTC. He has a master's degree and is a certified tester foundation level. Akinbola is passionate and about driving quality excellence, improving software delivery processes, and mentoring the next generation of technology professionals. His wealth of industry experience combined with his commitment to continuous learning and innovation is second to none. And he has made him a respected voice in quality engineer. So my quality techies team, can you just make welcome our speaker for today in the person of Akinbola Odetoyinbo. Please drop in your emojis and to make welcome our speaker. Akinbola, you're welcome. And I'm so excited about so many things that our quality techies is going to learn today. So please, you may have the floor, Akinbola. So I'll stop sharing my screen right now while you share your slide. Thank you. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Adenike. This accolade is too much for me, but thank you. I accept it. First of all, I welcome everyone again to this boot camp. Right, you're all welcome. And as Nick have said, I think you have to, if you feel this is what you want to do, then there must be a sense of determination, right? So that you don't I hope you can hear me clearly, right? So that you don't get bad, or you don't get jettison around along the way to the tour, right? So okay, let me see. I want to share my screen. Okay. Okay. So I think Nika was asking that, well, the chinonso that I saw that it was actually, is it part of the chinonso that was part of the, what's it called, the last boot camp, or this is a new chinonso now? Because I know that there was one chinonso in the last boot camp also. Please, at some point in time, I will need to be sure that I'm not talking to myself. So I might need some responses from you guys. Yes, I'm sharing my screen, so I may not be seeing the reaction from the chat room, as it were, right? So thank you. If at any time you cannot hear me, or things are not being cleared, please try as much as possible to call my attention, so that come I can repeat that part what testing bootcamp, and I'm sure that there is a syllabus that the founder has actually shared what we are going to have in week one, week two, week four. So I'm going to be taking day one of the week one, right? Maybe at some point in time I'll come back again for any of the other week as Nike as the what's it called now, the timetable with her. So okay, so like she said, the week one, which is today and tomorrow, are going to be discussing on testing fundamentals. Why do we test? Or why is word software testing coming up? Why is word quality assurance coming up? Why is word quality control coming up? Why do we why do we look into that quality assurance part of 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 a project delivery, right? So what are the things that make up testing, as it were? Yes, testing can just be simply said, oh, we are trying to make sure that what is expected to be, it is, right? But there are some other things that is needed for us to know, so as to distinguish you as a quality assurance professional from any other person out there. Then week two, we are going to be discussing about the SDLC and STLC. I'm sure that for people that might have read computer science, you must have had this SDLC, STLC. So SDLC is just the software development life cycle, and the other one is software test life cycle. So what are the levels that are involved in this? When you talk of project delivery, you are going to get your requirement gathering, you are going to do your analysis, you are going to do design, you are going to develop, you are going to test, you are going to deploy, you are going to monitor. All those things are going to come to play in the SDLC. Then when you come to the SDLC, you are going to plan of what you're going to do, how you're going to execute it, what exactly you need in executing. All those things are going to come also in week two. Then in week three, then all the type of tools that you may need for your QA job, then how you come about it, right? Yes, it's a different thing to have the fundamentals, and is another different thing that you want to execute without planning. So you have to set out yourself that, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to achieve the 100% of what I'm going to do, right? That's what is going to happen in week three, then week four, then the deliverables, what is expected of you after you finish that quality assurance phase of the SDLC. So you are supposed to have your test cases, your test plan, your traceability matrix, your defect reporting, and your test summary reports, just to show that, yes, for this project, for this item, we are done testing, so you can move to the next phase, as it were. Then I think Nick also talked about the capstone project that's going to happen after these 4 weeks, right? So um let's begin for today so that we don't bore you with so many talk. Please and please, if at some point I'm too fast or you can't hear me or it's not being cleared, just call me or slow me down. I will be glad. I will love and I will be gladly to give you responses to your questions, and as it were. And at some point, I'm sorry, I might need to switch from one device to another. So please just be patient as if that time comes in. Right. So let's begin. So today we are going to cover what software testing really is and what is not. Right. We might have had so many things about software testing, and we are going to try to dimension what it is actually and what it does not entail, right? Then why does it matter to the business you're doing or to that company, to that tech companies, and the differences between software testing itself or testing as it were, then the quality assurance as it were, and the quality control. Then the core terminology that we use every day, right? So if you go to an interview, there's some terminologies that are expected of you to see because you're a quality assurance person or because you're a software test analyst. So there are some keywords or terminology that is expected of you, right? Then the level, types, and role of a tester, right? So by the
Yeah,
end of yes, is that for me?
Power bank answer.
Okay. So by the end of day one, you have a working understanding of software testing, then a clear sense of what it is and distinction of this. So what is software testing, right? Testing as like you are trying to, in a layman's language, right? Right? When we were in school, secondary school, or what's it called, primary school, I say, oh, we have we have CA tests or we have tests just to check your knowledge of what we have taught you to be sure that you know it, right? So when it comes to technology or when it comes to testing, we can actually apply that, but we are applying it in the sense that we are checking what this guy have done, if it's actually meets what we gave him or what we asked him to do, right? So before somebody will say, oh, they want to come up with a biro, right? There must be a need for it, and there must be something that I must aggravate them to say, oh, okay, the next thing I want is a biro. So those needs or those things that make you to feel that we need a biro, you have stated them down. So we are not testing what the guy has done. So the guy has given us a pen or a biro as it were. So we are now validating that biro against those things we gave him at first, right? So we need a biro. I want the biro to write. We want the biro to last for 1 week. We want the biro to give me a blue ink. We want the biro to give me a red ink and what have you. And the guy has given us a biro. So what we are trying to do now, we are validating what he has given us against what we gave him. So that's just basically what testing is, right? Testing is the process of evaluating a system or its component to verify and validate that it meets specified requirements. Right. So before any system is being built or before any project is being done, there must be a requirement that must have been done. Right. You cannot just wake up and say, I want this. Okay, what and what do you think? Sorry, please, if you are not talking, can you please mute? Let me see who is trying to disturb us. Mr. Ayodele Olojede, right? Trying to come up with a system. It might be a product like people like us are working in the financial sector now. So we are coming with a tech with an app or with a product and what have you. So for us to say we are coming up with this thing, we must have sat down somewhere, or some people, don't let me say we, because the business is supposed to come up with the requirements, what is expected of the technology to have, so that by the time they are coming out with these things, you can say, okay, this product that we want it to be able to fly us from point A to point B. We want to be able to give another person our point. If I cannot fly, I need to give it to another person. And also, we want this product to also wake us up at so time of the day. So we are giving like a three requirements to the technology, or what I know that I want it to do this. So it's you people to give me the product that will satisfy those things that I've given to you. So now the developer must have done is, so by the time you get to the next week, when you guys are discussing about the SDLC, you understand this better. So the developer will come and say, okay, thank you. Okay, even before the developer, the requirements will go through business analysis. The analyst will try to break it down in such a way that, okay, it will be easier for the dev and the QA to pick them one by one. So now testing is now like we are verifying and validating that what we have produced, the product we have built is actually met the requirement. I guess that is okay, and we've gotten it. It's just a simple line of definition. Is a process of evaluating anything, a system, a component, a product, anything, to verify and validate it meets specified requirements. So I know that you must have heard the word box, right? It is not just about finding bugs. A tester confirms the software behaves as intended, right? Yes, you must have had that. So your major role, or one of your major roles, is to find bug, break the system, break the product, break it, and make sure that you find a bug and what have you. It is not about finding bugs at some point, right? It is just to make sure that this product is behaving as intended, right? If I say I want it to get me from point A to point B, and you're giving me a product that is taking me from point A to point C, leaving B, you have not built according to my specification. Yes, you are giving me an extra, I will not say okay, extra thing, right? But the thing I want at this particular time is to move from A to B, not to C, right? So that is why the testing also, it must behave as intended. Then if you look at the other part of this slide, is saying that the good testing always consider the requirements, which I've actually said, and users expectation, the functionality, and the performance. So I think I've actually mentioned all this in my explanation. if if you are testing, or if you are doing your execution, you must look at the user's expectation and the requirements, the functionality, if the feature actually work, right? You may have something that looks like move from A to B on your product, but if you click on the move, is it actually working? Does it actually move you as it were from that point A to point B? So you must check each of the feature on that product or on that system to show that it's actually work, and does it perform optimally, and is it reliable? If 20, 300, 500 people are on that system, or are on that product at the same point in time, is it reliable? Does it break out? Is it being optimized? So that's part of the performance testing. At some point we are going to see the functional and non-functional testing that will actually come under it also. um in this testing fundamentals also, we are going to discuss about skills of a strong tester. I don't want to say strong skills of a tester. Anybody that wants to call himself or herself a tester or a QA analyst or this one, these are the skills that is expected of you, right? So all of, yes, as I just starting this journey, it's not necessary that you should have all these at this point in time, but as time goes on, you need to build on this, and have and inculcate this in your day-to-day activities or in your own skill set as you go. So as a tester, a QA analyst, you must be analytical and detail oriented, right? What do I mean by that? When you're trying, okay, you've been given your requirements, you've been given everything that you need to test, right? You are developing your test cases. You need to think out of the test cases. Yes, I agree with you that by the time you are growing in the career, right? By the time you're going the career ladder, at some point in time, you will introduce some test cases that will be based on your experience on testing such product or system in the time past, right? But at first, you have to think outside the box. Yes, you have the requirement that will guide you in creating your test cases, but at some point in time, because of analytical and detail oriented skills, you have to get more test cases, more edge scenarios, more negative scenarios, just to make sure that this is actually a correct product to ship out of your company. Then you have to be curious. Curiosity and adaptability. Keep asking questions, right? There is no right answer, right? I have the end of uni. There are sometimes that I'll go and meet him and ask him question, but the first thing I'll first say that, okay, please don't laugh at me because I'm not too sure if this question is correct or not. But I will still ask the question, right? So because there is this curiosity, like, okay, what if this point A to point B, what if we say that we should come from point Z to point B? That's backward. how how can we do it? Is it possible? Is it a longer route or what have you? The end game of the business is point B, right? So what if I come from point F to point B? Is it making sense? Is it going to be okay for my end users? Are they going to like it like that? Coming that rough way down there, or we just want a simple road from A to B, just like that. You are just curious. It's not that whatever you have said is going to go out there. but you're just curious just to make your voice heard and your opinion also counts, and see other other way of making things, work or being inculcated in the product, and and if at the end of the day it's being what's it called, even accepted, they will adjust the product. They will adjust the system and say, oh, I think that actually makes sense. Some people might want to go from A to B, while some people want to, like the longer route and want to go from point F back to B. So let's give them the two options, right? Then also communication. In testing, in QA, communication is very key. In fact, I think this communication should be number one. Communication is very key because you are working with developers, you are working with project managers, you are working with product owners, you are working with executives at some point in time. So they need information, they need you to communicate how far you are going in the testing of their product. It is you that will determine if the product want to be shipped out or not. There's a phrase we use, go or no go, right? Go or no go. So it is you only that can tell us that we cannot go ahead because we have a critical bug that we are found on this. If it is not fixed, it cannot go. Or I will not sign. If we all agree that it should go, then we must all put our hands in pen and paper and say yes, we all agree that it should go out there. But it is you that will tell us if we must go or not. So you need to communicate as you are going about the testing. If your testing is going to be delayed, you need to communicate. If your testing is going to take more than expected, you need to communicate. If the project manager is delaying or giving you a requirement document for you to use, you need to communicate so that at the end of the day, everybody on the project, everybody that you're answerable to knows what exactly is going on that project. So you need to have clear, precise writing, confident verbal updates every day, and you have to support your daily updates with metrics, right? So you have to support them with metrics and see, okay, we have 132 test cases, and we have done 30 has been tested. Out of the 30 tested, we have 5 failed, we have 25 passed, and the percentage is 20%. Those kind of metrics that I would give a summary of what is going on per day on this project. So you also have to have a technical competence, right? As I've said earlier on, it's not I don't want to I'm choosing my word very carefully now. I don't want to say it's not compulsory that you have this, but it is one of the skill sets that will make you a strong tester, right? You are starting right now does not mean that if you do not have this, you cannot be a tester. You cannot be a good tester. As I said earlier on, once you start, you grow in this career, then this skill set will also grow with you. By the time you start now, maybe in the next 6 7 months, you just know that, oh, you need to build yourself up in this part, in this part, in this part, and you get it. So this technical competence is talking of you need to be comfortable to use tools, right? There was a time where everything is manual testing, manual testing, manual testing. But now we're moving to automation testing, AI testing, agentic AI, and what have you. So all these other parts, apart from manual, are using tools. So you need to be comfortable using some of the tools. Some of the tools. Yes, you might not be able to use all because there are even plenty. So no one, I'm not too sure, even the best of the best QA cannot come and say that he knows all the tools in this world and he can use all of them. No, right? But once you know one, you can actually use the framework because basically they all do the same. So you can use the framework of one to ride on the others, right? And also you must be comfortable in your APIs, your databases, and automation, right? As time goes on, even some of us can find ourselves in a company where what they do or the testing that they do is just to test APIs. So after testing APIs, you just give the APIs to other companies or to other places that will now plug it into their own system or into their own products that will be calling your API. So what you do is just to test your API, right? And you have to test, and some is just databases. You know, when you are doing some of your tests, you will need test some test data. You will need to manipulate some data just to fulfill your cases, edge cases, and scenarios that you set out. So all those things will happen on your databases. So if you don't know how to run some queries or how to get some data or to manipulate data on queries and what have you, you need to you need to know one or two things about that. And God so good, AI has been so helpful. So once you don't know anything, or once you feel that this you can't, you are wrapping your head on it and what have you, go to AI, tell AI that you're having problem of this, you want to run a query that join this table and this table together to bring out this thing, and I need and this is the identifier, please give me a query. Before you know it, it will run a query for you, and by the time you look at it, you will say that you are good. Just copy paste and you run on your SQL or Oracle the developer, and you are fine, right? So you need to just build as your career progresses in QA. So problem solving, because basically that's what we are trying to do, right? We are trying to find the issue before the issue finds us outside there, right? So that we can solve them, right? It is we don't we work collaborating with the developers, right? And we don't try to bastardize their work or to relegate their work back to the ground. No, we try as much as possible to work collaboratively. We try to make sure that we see those issues before outsider we see it. That's where hackers and everything and feed on. So before those ones we see it, let us see it in as ourselves and sort it out before we get that there. Then you have to be passionate, right? We talked about dedication and whatever. You have to be passionate. If you are passionate about quality, definitely everything that is going out of your table must be a top quality project or top quality product, as it were. So why does testing actually matter? Is it not, let's just do this product and give it to our people to use now? Why should we test? Why should we test? We need to test because we must ship out a reliable and secure software, right? I think at some point, I'm not too sure if it's in this day one slide or tomorrow. There is a functional and non-functional testing, right? So under the non-functional testing, we have the security test, we have the performance testing that I talked about. So when you say reliable might actually come from both functional and non-functional, but secure software is actually security testing. So we are shipping a product that works and is safe for use, right? If what has been developed, if it's not tested, people outside there can actually use it against your company, can actually use it against where you're working, right? And that's where the what's it called, hackers comes in. They will use that to steal your data, to get to your customers, or to just to just to put a bad reputation to the company's name. And you have to be careful, because at the end of the day, they will always ask who tested this before this go out. So that's one of the reasons why we need to test, so that the companies we work for or the product we are shipping out is very reliable and people can actually use it and say, oh, I think I can use that app more than this app. No, I trust this app more than that app. I've had people saying that, oh, OP, they can't use OP. Well, I can't say anything about it, but because they just feel like it's not a traditional bank, it does not mean that it's not good or something, but they just feel like because it's not traditional bank, they cannot. But it is not actually, because it actually have gone through testing and what have you. So it is people's preference. And that is why, even before you go out there, you have to be sure that whatever you are shipping out there is actually very okay and well secure. And that's why testing matters. And you catch defects early. We are still trying to say the same thing also, right? So before they will get us out there, let us get ourselves inside, right? And do that early so that we can get our developer to fix it before we get to that there. You know, shipping it out without testing and a bug is being found outside there, it's actually costly than we finding it out first and doing the needful, because you don't know what it must what you don't know the damage it must have done outside there. You don't know if you have if they will have gone to report it to the regulatory body, especially if you work in the financial sector like mine. They will have gone to report it to the CBN before this and this and this, and you have to pay fine for allowing people's data to be mishandled outside there. So it's actually costly if bugs are not found early from the inside before shipping it out. And testing matters because whatever you're dishing out there must be high quality before software. Better software means a better user experience. You know, by the time you are testing it, by the time it goes through one, two, three cycles, right, you have a better experience, or you have a better thing to tell the developer or the UI UX to input in this, so that the experience can be better by the time it goes out there. Then the risk mitigation, it reduces business and financial reputational risks, because if you ship something that is not 100% okay out there, your reputational risks, your reputation is at risk, and it can be damaged. Yes, I know you've been hearing me saying QA testing, QA testing, QA testing. So let's have a an overview of these two terms, right? We have the quality assurance and we have the testing. So in what I have on this screen, if you can see my screen, it's saying the quality assurance is a process focused, while testing is a product focused, right? I will explain. Process focused, product focused. When I say quality assurance, right, you are making sure that the product you are shipping out, you are involved right from the beginning, right from the what's it called, right from the requirements gathering, so that you can give the product owner, if they are coming with one vague requirement, can say, "Ha, madam, this one will not fly," or we break it down, so that by the time we are breaking it down, you can see that okay, it's only this one will fly, this one will not fly, that one will not fly, that one will fly. Okay, by the time we get to testing, we can test with this, we can test with this. But this might not be testable on the test environment, so we might need to move it to a very controlled environment on the production, so that we see, those are the quality you bring into it, even till the time of you testing. And by the time you test finish and you move it out, you are still following up to make sure that that thing that you have shipped is that thing that you have tested is actually working as expected out there, so that even if anybody is going to raise any issue outside there, you are the first point of call that will know, so that you can quickly say, no, this was actually done. Okay, let me check my records. Okay, can quickly roll back and look at it again. After we roll back, okay, no, I think this is done, it has been fixed, let's go again. You ship it out and what have you. You are just trying to make sure that this product or system, as it were, is actually of high quality, right? It defines the standard and guidelines of for how work is done. Then it spans the entire development life cycle, right, from beginning to the end, like when it will be deployed. And you also follow them to monitor, right? It might not be your 100% job to monitor, but you also still follow up and say, Alpha, that thing that will deploy, how is it going on production? How many people are using it now? How many people are subscribed to it now? How do we get the response time? Is it failing? Is it low than expectation and what have you? You are still involved just to make sure that the quality doesn't not drop at the time it even leaves your table. Aims to prevent defects before they happen. So in fact, as you're even using it, or maybe somebody is even using it beside you, and you're already seeing one issue, right? You will quickly say, okay, please let's quickly fix this issue before another person will seize it, so that it will not be, we have seen a bug go blah blah blah. So that is what quality assurance is. But testing on the other hand is just that, okay, the project managers or the product owner, they have come with their requirements, the business analysts have analyzed, they have given, the architect has designed, the developer has developed. Then it is my turn to test. So I'm going to test according to requirements, pass, fail, and everything. Oh, everything is okay. Then I give you your test summary report, and my work is done. That is testing. That is a typical tester. You are just testing what you are being given. No quality added. No, what's it called now? No opinions. No, nothing to contribute to make the product worthwhile. Nothing. You are just like, okay, my work is to just get a finished product from the dev guys and test according to the requirements and give you your TCR or your TSR, or any reports that shows that we are done, right? So that's is evaluating whether the product meet those standards, defects, detect defect through execution and inspection, economic activities within the border of QA process. You see that this testing is a um, is is an activity, so to say, in that quality assurance, and that's why most times I always try to use the word quality assurance. But if you want to use test analyst or a tester, it's still okay. But this is just the difference, right? Although some people, even as test analysts, they still do the quality assurance of a thing, right? But they just don't want to call themselves quality assurance. They are still say we are testers and whatever. But just for you to tell you the difference between the two, these are the difference between the two, so that by the time you get to an interview and they ask you, are you a quality assurance or a tester? Right? So that you will know the right answers to give on that. Quality is everyone's responsibility. Designing tests early against the test basis, such as requirements specification, prevent defects before they are built in. So we have entry criteria for testing and exit criteria for testing. So we're going to any questions so far? Any questions so far? Please, if you are raising your hand, I may not be able to see, or I don't know. Maybe I have some chats here. It's not showing
Yes,
to.
I have a question.
Okay, please.
Good afternoon. Okay.
Yes, good afternoon.
Thank you for the session so far. Okay. This is Chino. So I don't know. I know. Aditya was asking. I was trying to speak, but I guess another Chino so spoke. I don't know the Chino so she was asking about, but I'm also on the WhatsApp group. Okay, just to clarify that. Now, my question, yeah, when you were talking about communication, so I just wanted to find out for a project that is ongoing and the project manager sends its reports on a weekly basis, is it okay for a tester? Okay, now your boss or the management is saying they want your QA report on a daily basis for a project that is ongoing, and the project manager always sends his reports weekly. Is it advisable, is it best practice for the QA to be sending a separate report outside the project report? That's my question.
My answer would be yes.
Okay. So
So
outside,
project managers. So
okay,
let me chip on another thing. Project managers or project manager manages the whole project, as it were, from the resourcing, from the development, from the product owner point of view. It manages all the whole project. So
okay.
yes, whatever reports she's giving or he or she is giving, yes, the QA part will be part of our own report, but that is not what is going to form all the reports he's sending, right? But your own as a QA or as a tester on the project, you are focusing on the execution, right? You are
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the execution, and the reports will be based on that. And when I was saying your report also, your reports should actually have test metrics, right? So the percentage of what you have done, the percentage of what is left in quotes, right? The number of pass rates that you have, the failure rates that you have, just to have is not for you to have a lengthy what's it called, paragraph 1 to paragraph 20. No, if you have a pictorial diagram of everything, is fine. If you have a graphical representation of what you have, is fine. Just have your text metrics, then the pictorial view or a graphical view, it's okay. So the project manager might now be giving, oh, we started we started testing the product yesterday. The tester is supposed to get back to us next 2 days. He gave us 3 days timeline, so we're expecting the feedback on so day, right? But you are giving your own breakdown so that even after the third day you are not done, we can see that, oh, you've been telling us from day one that the rate at which you are going is not looking like you are going to finish at this point in time. So that everybody will see the defects that you have, the issues that you have, and also you also highlight the issues or maybe the critical bugs that you have that might affect your timeline delivery. I hope that explains it.
Now, this takes me to another question. Now, what if, yeah, is a project, you're not working in silos, you work together as a team, right? Now, in your project manager's report, you have a line that says for QA and everything goes out in one email. Does it work? Does that work? Or it must the QA must send a separate report? Because there's this there might be a disadvantage, yeah, where there will have to be a disconnect when the project manager's report is contradicting your own. So let it not be that you guys are not working together. That's what I'm saying. If it's possible, or if it's the best practice for you to have now that report that is going out on a weekly basis from the PMO, right? Have a line that says QA, all the metrics and everything embedded in the email, and everything goes out. Since it's not you are not sending the summary report, it's just to update the management. This is what is happening, this is where we are. I don't know if that works. That's my question.
That you are feeding your own what's it called now, your own report to. So the project manager will just go there and pull from there and drop in that mail tray, right? That can
From
work,
there, okay.
right?
Okay.
Because the project manager is sending to the
Okay.
management. But the kind of reports that I would like it now, unless you are the lead or you are the head of the QA team and you know and you are the one testing it, that's fine. So there may not be need for you to send any other report. But also you might also need to give reports to your direct manager or QA manager. It's not an issue that you send it to the management that the project manager is sending it to, right? You know, we have
Okay.
two distinct things now. So if the project manager is being has the responsibility of sending it to the management or the executive as it were, right? And you have a repo where you feed your own data to other people working on the project also feed their data to. So by the time the programmer is sending it, he or she is fetching whatever she's sending from that repo, because that repo will not like, and I'm sure that is real time, is online, so there's nothing like, oh, I've not updated it, or I've not given you, or I gave you blah 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 blah. Is a real time what was it called, as you're updating it, it's updating itself. So there's a link and it's being shared on that report line and whatever. Is okay. But also you also need to tell your own manager or the person you are reporting to, this is how we are progressing in this report. Because there are sometimes that there are some meetings that will happen that you on those projects will not be there. Is your guard that will be there, or your manager that will be there, and you will not want your manager to to be looking as if he or she does not know anything, right? I don't be surprised that those link where if prayer manager actually put a link in that report being sent to executives and what have you, don't be surprised that the executive might not even want might not even click. Is maybe whenever there is a meeting, when they call your guy, or maybe when you are there yourself, you cannot explain and say, oh, this, right? I guess it's still okay. But the bottom line is still
Okay.
communication. Any way you want to communicate, just make sure that there is communication, and the
Yeah.
communication is okay
Communication.
and is of top notch. Communicate, communicate, communicate.
Okay. I think that's fine. Thank you. I don't know. Let me ask one more question. Sorry. Okay, for someone that just joined an organization, right? And you notice that there's the one of the products the performance on the product is really poor, and you raised it, and everybody's like, oh, that's how it works. We've been managing it like this, and you know that it's an infrastructure thing, and the change for that infrastructure to be changed is going to cost a lot, and it has to go through a lot of processes, and they are just managing it like that. So as a QA, what are you supposed to? You've talked about it. I say, that's how we've been managing it. We know the problem. That's how. So what are you supposed to do as a QA? Should you just leave it like that and wait until the infrastructure is changed, or do you keep pushing?
Yes, you keep pushing, because if how will I put it now? If you are being hired as a performance tester, and you have raised this because this is your core core job role and what have you, you have raised it, raising it with your peers or with people that may not have anything to do with it. That's what they will tell you. But as a QA or as a performance tester, that you've seen the issues, right? It is expected of you to have a report. Okay, we have gone through the performance of these products, of these systems, and this is what we found out. And this is our recommendation. And if the recommendation, if the recommendation are there to strictly, I can assure you that our landing page that is taking 5 minutes, we come down drastically to 1 second. If and this API we are trying to call at this point in time, if the infrastructure are upgraded, it will come down to 2 seconds that will get a response. So you give your recommendation, you state the valuable of the recommendation you are giving, and you send that report to people higher than you, maybe from your manager to the executive, so that they will see that okay, this is what is happening, and if you upgrade this, it can actually happen. But you talking to people that may not be able to push for you, you will still be there. But it is your responsibility to raise it. If you have seen it, raise it, make it a formal document and send it, so that if it is not being acted upon, you know that you have done something, right? Then maybe once in a while you can just push it. Oh, what's the update on this? Can we have an update on it? Because this is actually giving us a bad reputation outside. Somebody cannot want to use your product, and is trying to get to the landing page, and it's spending like 3 4 minutes, while other landing page takes like 1 second, right? So those are the things that you put in that report, comprehensive enough for them to know the gravity of why they need to upgrade the infrastructure, as it were.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's continue. So a QA should be able to work with without requirement, but in mature organization always provide functional business requirements or user story. Okay. So the entry criteria for testing, one is that the test environment must be available, because definitely that's where you're going to carry out your tests, right? The functional requirement is provided, right? So most of the times you get to a company, they will tell you that they use user stories, right? Use user story documents, the same thing as the functional requirement document. And most of the time you get to another organization that they give you business requirement document. It's the business requirement documents that the product owner must have produced, right? Then it's for the business analyst to now break that business requirement document down into either user stories or functional requirements. So where the business analyst is missing in the ladder, or in the career in the test, as it were, you can also use the business requirement documents, just to get the what is expected of the product that is being built. Then you also another criteria is that you make sure that the environment that has been given to you is actually stable. It's not that you want to test a login page. Now you can log in successfully. In the next minute, you are having a 500 error, right? You're having another error at another point in time. Another API that is supposed to call is down at another point in time. That means it's not stable, right? It's not that you have not logged in. You have logged in once. You want to try another login. You're having another error, you want to log in on the third minute, another error different from the previous one, so it is not stable. So if an environment needs to be stable, that even if you come back to that environment 20, 40 times in a day, it's being returned the same 200 successful response, right? Then a review needs to be done also between the developer, business, and QA. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but most of the times, in maybe industry standard, just to be sure that we are all aligned, right? So that the QA is not testing in silo, and the developer developed with something. I've seen it, with these are years of experience. You ask developer that, okay, where's the user story that using develop, you will like, ah, that user story was actually old. So when I was developing, I had to call the product owner, and we changed some things, and we did some things on phone. I be like on phone call or whatever call that they were doing it. Sometimes the PM are not even aware. The QA that is going to test is not aware. So by the time I'm testing, I'm not failing. You'll be like, no, go ahead as a product owner. We have changed. How? So the review needs to be also be done, so that we don't have the back and forth issue and what have you. We have seen a lot. I'm sure Nick will tell you that. I've seen a lot, right? I've heard of okay, a developer telling me that, well, product owner just told me what they want, and I figure it out, and I built it according to it. How, Oga? There is no document. You just built without document. Because in this technology thing, right, documents is actually very, very, very important. Because of audit issues, and because we deal with technology, right? And people can actually use technology against people, against companies, against this. So we need to be extra careful, so that you don't find yourself in where you don't want to find yourself, even as a developer, even as a QA, right? I told you, yes, for the years of experience I've worked, I think it's only one year experience that I have outside of financial sector. I've seen where colleagues have been invited to EFCC. I've seen where colleagues have been taken to where it should not be even be said or mentioned, just because there are some things that were done. They were not documented, they were not signed, they were not agreements, right? Everybody just working in silos and whatever. Make sure that a review is being done, and to align, and everyone is aligned with what. And also, okay, number 5 is saying that documents are properly signed off. So the documents we are working with, make sure that they are signed off. Your product owner is signed off, manager of the product owner is signed off. Even you as a QA, you make sure that whatever you is part of your quality, right? Document that have been given to you, you need to be sure that they have a reasonable numbers of signature on it, so that by the time we are done, no one will come and deny that we are not aware of this project. I did not ask you to build on based on this, right? So those are the criteria for testing. We have root cause, error, defect, and failure. I'm sure that you must have had this terminology at some point in time or the other in testing. So when they say, let us know the root cause of this issue, right? There was a bug, there was a defect that happens. What's the root cause? So that means that the underlying reason an issue exists. So, okay, we are unable to log into this platform. Why? What's the root cause of this? Because the API that this landing page is calling is actually down, or something has broken that service, or the service is not up. So that's the root cause. So what should we do? Go and turn on the service, or restart that service, so that the API will pick it up and what have you. So now the root cause have been addressed. Then try to log in. You can see that you are getting a successful response. You are logging. So error is just like a mistake made by a developer, right? And that error will now lead to a defect, right? So the developer has made an error to do one or two things in his own line of code. By the time you are testing it, it now turns to a defect. So that's a flaw that has been introduced into the software based on the error that was made by developer, and also it turns to failure. So you can see the difference issues here and the definition of it. So tracing this chain helps QA pinpoint where an issue originated from, right? So the error made is being translated to defects, which now makes the system to behave differently from what is expected to behave. So that's the chain of failure, so to say. Testing is a preventive measure that protects product functionality, security, and reliability. That's another. I can tell you that maybe that's another definition of testing, right? It's just a preventive measure that protects the product or the system functionality, security, and reliability. Okay, so we have 4 levels of testing. 4 levels of testing. We have the units, we have the integration, we have the system, and we have the acceptance, right? So the unit testing is always being done by the developer. Sometimes the tester, the QA can also join in testing this, in helping test the units, right? The unit testing or helping do the unit testing. But the unit testing primarily is for developers, right? They may ask you this in an interview, or some developers might want to just bamboozle and blah, 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 that testing is the work of anything test is the work of QA or tester. No, unit testing is their core responsibility. In there are some organizations that before you even move your product or whatever you have developed into testing or into QA, you must submit your unit testing reports as a developer, right? And there are some organizations to that say just give us a screenshot or an evidence that you have carried out your unit testing, because we find that most times dev guys, they will not do the unit testing. They just do the line of code sharp, 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 sharp and push it. In fact, in these are levels, in these are our years of experience, you see that when there is much pressure on the dev guys, they will just say, oh, they are done, they push it to testing. And as you are testing, you are seeing that this thing is not even done, because as you are testing, you are seeing error, you are seeing bugs, defect as early as possible. The guy is fixing, and the guy is still continuing to develop because he's not done. It's just that so that by the time they will start all the bass and what have you, it is not unstable. That's not a good practice, right? And that's why some organizations always look forward to, like, give me your unit testing report before I can accept this into the QA phase of this project. So it's to test an individual component in isolation. So as you're writing your line of code, you test. Write your line of code, you test. So sometimes as I said, testers also can also help out. If you are doing this agile or scrum, where your developer, the QA, the product manager, the everybody were in the same space, we're in the same space and what have you. So you can actually push or the line after writing 2-3 lines of code. Okay, guy, let me check out. Right. So that's for unit testing. Then in other level of testing is integration testing, right? This is a test that you combine components and make sure that they work together. So we have these components here, we have this component here, we are bringing them together, making sure that they work together, right? We want to integrate into another person's API, just to make sure that this API is actually working. We test the API on its own is working, then we bring it into our system and see that also is also working. So that's integration. Is our core responsibility, QA tester, to actually do that. Then the system. Now we have done the units, we have done integration. Then we are now coming together to make sure that it's actually a system, as it were. Integration is just like we are bringing somebody's third party to be plugged into our own code, right? So that's integration. We are testing the integration into our own code. Now the system testing now is like we're not testing the front end functionalities, like the what we can call maybe the UI UX of a thing, the whole system, as it were. So from end to end, from beginning to the end. When we are talking of the unit testing, it's like a code. We are testing the line of code, right? You are just running the line of code to be sure that there's no bug. Where as opposed to have your if else and statements, bracket open, bracket close, they are there. They are not. You are not missing one close parenthesis at any point in time. Then the integration, we are collecting the third party APIs or another person's system or another person's code or another person's thing to plug into what you are developing. That's integration. You are bringing combine component work together. So you are bringing them together. So that one cannot still be regarded to as a system. You are still testing if it can work together, if it can collaborate together and see. Then after that, then you will now plug it into any channel that you want, as it were. Then you now test that from end to end. That's system testing. Then the acceptance is, okay, we are done with the testing phase, as it were. So let's move to the user acceptance testing, where the product owner itself that brought the requirement right from the beginning will come and see what we have done, or come and test with us and see that, okay, this is actually okay and we can move ahead. So those are the levels of testing: units, integration, system, and acceptance. Please do not forget that at any point in time. Okay, I think I mentioned agile at some point there, right? So agile scrum ceremonies, right? So this is part of project management thing, so to say. So if you find yourself, there is what they call waterfall model and agile model, right? So in this agile, we have sprint planning, we have the daily stand up, sprint review, backlog grooming, then the sprint retrospective, right? So this agile is just that we are breaking down a large project into smaller units or into smaller component that we can deliver and be used. So the way I always explain this agile of a thing, right? Is like the product owner comes and say they want a car. They want a car as a product, right? And by the time you say waterfall, so if for waterfall, we have to go through all the process, all the SDLC, right? And make sure that we get a car before we can say we want to test, right? And that might take us like 6 months or 7 months, before we say we want to get this, bring them together and what have you, before we now say we have a car. But agile is telling us that, your end goal is a car, right? So let's start by creating or by building a tire, right? So you give us a tire within 3 weeks. You develop the tire, we test the tire, we see that the tire is okay. A little boy can be playing with tire, can be rolling the tire, right? Is usable for the boy. So we go back, we now see that, okay, now that we have done a tire now, can we do something that will has two tire, right? So we come up with a motorcycle, right? I will come up with motorcycle within 3 weeks. We develop, we move it to QA, it was tested, and we deliver it. People are driving motorcycle. And the feedback is now like, this motorcycle, yes, it's good, but it's making it faster. But the sun, the rain, everything. Okay, now we go back to our sprint planning again. Okay, our end goal is a car, and car is four tires. So now the next thing that, can we do something of a three tire? So let's do the three tire. That's where the tricycle comes in. Tricycle comes in, we develop, we test, and people are using tricycle. We have iterated 3 times now. And for each of the iteration, for each of the products we are delivering at each iteration, it is being used. Yes, it might not be used by the what's it called, the last one, the person that wanted the car, but at least at some point people are using it. A small boy is rolling a tire, another person is driving a motorcycle, another person is driving a tricycle, right? Then we now come back to make the four-wheel tire of a car, and we deploy, and we deliver, right? Even with that, we cannot. By the time we look at it, maybe we only spend like 4 to 5 months instead of the 6 7 months that will have waited for us for all the components to be ready before delivering car. So that is what agile. So for each of those us coming back to do after the one tire to come back to second tire to third tire, that's a sprint planning. We are deciding what we want to do in each of the sprints and deliver it and how we are going to achieve it. So the daily stand up means that okay, how far we have gone. Yesterday, what did you do yesterday concerning this our tire? Right? So you've gotten the black thing, you've gotten the rubber thing. So it's just for you to get the and the shape on this thing. So you are moving, you are telling us what has been done. Daily stand up is supposed to be like 5 to 10 minutes. It's not supposed to be for forever. But nowadays is another thing. But on the agile scrum ceremony, your daily stand up is just 5 10 minutes and a stand up. Just tell us what you have done today. What are you doing today? Any issue you encountered that you need us to address. If there's no issue, fine. If there's an issue, a big issue that we can address, and we cannot address it on that stand up, we follow up after stand up, right? Then the sprint review. So after we have deployed the tire, the motorcycle, this thing, let us review with the stakeholder. What do you think of it? Yes, it's good, but the sun is beating us on the motorcycle, the rain is beating us on motorcycle. Okay, by the time we are going back to the sprint planning, so whatever we are doing now, we should do something that will cover. That's why we come up with tricycle. But tricycle, right? By the time we are not doing the sprint review of tricycle also, how far with the tricycle and the glass is too small. It's not making us to see a wider view of the road and what have you. So that's why we come back and say, okay, by the time we are getting our car, we can all the feedback we have, we can impute it in the next iteration we are building, and that's what actually come about the beaker. Then the backlog grooming, we refine all the items and blah blah blah. Then sprint retrospect. Then we now come back for each of the sprint and say, okay, what did you do well? And what went wrong and how can we improve on everything that we did not do well. At some point maybe the communication was an issue. Okay, how can we improve on the communication in this new sprint we are starting? So those are the agile scrum ceremonies, and I think I've in this small thing I've actually differentiated between the agile and the waterfall model of the project management. Okay, so before now we discuss on the skill sets, right, of a tester and what you're supposed to have. Now, the role of a tester, your role as it were. Yes, you want to become a tester, you want to become a quality assurance analyst, you need to understand your role, right? You need to understand the requirements. And as I always say, right, that requirement document is what you need most especially, right? Yes, there's exploratory testing. Exploratory testing is just like, okay, based on what you've known about the product, you might feel like you do not need any requirements. You just, right, because you are the one that have been testing it over time, so you know in and out of that product, right? So I can just tell you that, Chinon, so for that product that you are on, we just change the password to actually take four characters instead of 3 characters. Just help us test and give us feedback, because at the point of where the pin or the password will come in, you already know. So you are doing an exploratory test on that, right? But for any other person that wants to jump on that, it will need to a requirement, because it doesn't know anything about it. It doesn't know at what point he's expecting a password or a pin to be inserted. So he needs a requirement. So you need to understand that requirement. If you are being given a requirement, understand that requirement. From that requirement, you are going to design your test cases. Yes, you turn it into concrete, repeatable test cases. Before the invention of AI and what have you, where we started was QA testing. I don't know if Neke is still on the call. Now, right, we go. Now, right, we dey write this. These are test cases. I've written 1,000 test cases before. 1,000 test cases. I've written that test. Yes, but now we have AIs and what have you that can help our job faster, quick, and what have you. Just upload your document or requirements on your AI, your co-pilots, your cloud, your everything. Generates your test cases, both positive, negative, edge scenarios, blah blah blah. It will generate it, and it's for you to now review and see if it's aligned with what you have in your document, because you have read the requirements and you have understood it, right? So it is the onus is now on you to now review what AI has given to you. You know, AI too can make mistakes, right? I'm sure you know that. And we're all technology, so I'm sure that you know that they can also make mistakes. But apart from that, I think it's the onus is now you to actually look at look at it. At some point in time, I think yes, I use this what's it called now, AI. Sometimes I don't review. I just carry it in that's so by the time I now get to this third phase now, which is execute test case, I'm not trying to execute, and I'm reading the test case. I'm not like, this is not making sense. What exactly is this? I look at the requirements. So based on the requirement that I have, I've read the requirements. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I've set out to get. So, and I'm seeing what AI give me at some point. Key. So I'll just try to tweak the English or write that particular test to suit that execution, as it were. Then another rule that you should report your defects, right? Yes, you might be lucky enough that project that you work on or product or system that you are testing might not have defects, right? You've tried to break the outside, inside, everywhere. There's no defects. Even the UI UX, you try to look for misspelled language or misspelled letter, what have you. You cannot see any. Right? So there are some like that. If you did not have a defect, it's not compulsory that you have a defect log. But if you have one defect, report it and let it be logged. Right? Let it be logged. So you log clear reproducing bug reports so that developer can act upon it, right? And so that it can actually also be a document to be submitted at the end of the day with your report, right? So that if another person is picking it up at the end of the day, we say, oh, okay, let me check this guy's defect log and see, okay, this was actually reported as a defect at this point in time. Let me see if it's still coming out up as a defect, right? You know, by the time you move to principles of testing, there's a place that called there's one of the principles that said and test as a um, is it pesticide or something like that, because those guys are now used to the bugs and what have you. You are now liable to overlook it because it's always almost the same, so you are easily to overlook it. So defect log, even if it's one, please log it and let there be a report for it. Then your other role also is to verify fixes. You raise your defect, it has been fixed, you verify before moving on. And also, as our name implies, quality assurance, you need to champion quality. Make quality visible, make it your work. Okay, these testing tools, this what's it called? So this slide is actually produced by the Quality Techies, and I'm sure that they might share with you at the end of the day, right? So testing tools, we have the defects management Jira. Okay, I guess this is just the type of what's it called now? So the testing tool that you can use for defect management is Jira, right? At some point in time, you can also use a spreadsheet, right? So even at some point in time, I've used Azure for my defect management. I raise a defect, tag the developer. The developer will get an email to say this and what have you. So it depends on the company you work with at any point in time. Yes, we have the Jira. I think we have this test suite also. As they're using it for test management, you can also use it for defect management also. Even browser stack also, right? You can also use it for test management. Azure DevOps, yes, you can also use it for this defect management. So it depends on where you see yourself at any point in time. So API testing, we have the Postman. I think that's the most commonly used, right? There's this other one also that I'm using. if I remember that name, because I use it once in a blue moon, right? But API, Postman, right? Then the database testing. I think we mentioned database at that particular time. We have the SQL, MySQL or Oracle SQL developer. Yes, performance testing. We have the JMeter. I think JMeter is most used, but there's also a K6. Code quality, we have the Sonar Cube. We have the spreadsheets, Excel. Excel cannot be over emphasized, right? Cannot be over emphasized. When we started quality assurance or testing, we use Excel for all our test cases, defect log, anything, even to do our metrics, right? Even to do our metrics, we use Excel. We now do all those formulas equals to and line B2 divided by 30, you do all those things just to get your percentage pass, percentage fail. Excel sheets. You need to be good in that Excel if you want to use Excel sheet. But now we have tools that you can actually use, and it depends on where you find yourself. At some point in time, where you find yourself determines the tools that you improve yourself on, right? So that you can get used to it. So web automation, we have the Cypress, Selenium, Playwright, then the mobile testing, we have the Appium, then the documentation, we have the conference. So for API testing practice, we have this, what's it called now? This link here, right? They are the JSON link, so you can check this out. Then we have the Swagger Pet Store. Then the example of the test cases concerning API, right? Get all to do's, we have the method of gets, we have the post, we have delete, we have create, we have insert, right? And I think you might need to read on this API testing as it were, so that the the different responses, right? When you say 200, that means that everything is correct. When you say 500, maybe internal server error is happening. 404 not found, maybe because one object is missing in your in your request, right? So you need to actually check it. So this link, please Google this link and practice, or maybe you Google like API testing as it were, so that you understand what exactly API testing is and the methods. I think I mentioned get, post, delete, insert, create, and what have you. So confirmation versus regression testing. So sometimes you might hear this confirmation to be retesting. Okay, yes, is yeah, also called retesting. So you rerun a test that is previously failed after its defect is fixed to confirm the fix work well. So let me just state an example. So you have a project you are working on. You have your test cases number 1 to 20. Number 1 to 11 has passed. Number 12 failed. Because number 12 failed, you cannot move to number 13. So number 13 to 20 is actually blocked because number 12 failed. So you raise number 12, you fill your defect law, you issue it out to the developer and what have you. If fixes, I say, oh guy, I have moved this defect from open to fixed. Please check and close. You pick that test case 12 and test. You rerun the test of that and to confirm that it has been fixed. So that is confirmation testing. Once you know that it's fixed, or once you know that the number 12 is okay, that is confirmation testing, and it's also called retesting. They can confuse you in an interview, right? Retesting. If they are saying what's the difference between confirmation and retesting, just tell them that it's the same thing, right? Retesting is the same thing with confirmation testing. But regression, remember I said number 1 to number 11 of your test cases have passed. Now number 12 is what that failed, and you've just confirmed that it has passed. Now regression now means that you will go back to your number 1 to retest from number 1 to number 12 to be sure that everything that passed is still remains passed, so that what we are doing is to confirm that at the time the developer is trying to fix number 12, he has not gone to tamper with number 3. right? So that is what regression testing is. You will run tests that previously passed after a change to confirm the existing feature still works. So that is just it. The key difference is confirmation we run tests that failed before. Did we fix it? Yes, that's been fixed. Regression we run tests that have passed before. Did we break anything else? No, we didn't. So this slide, this what's it called? This present slide here, as you can see, is very important because I'm sure that if if you meet me in any of your interview, this is one of the questions I will ask. If you meet me in any of your interview, this is one of the questions that you ask, and I'm sure that if you go for any interview, there is high likelihood that you will be asked this question also. So I think we are coming to the end of this small. So we have welcome to software testing. So we have line of careers that you can actually delve into in this software testing. We have your manual, you can be either manual tester or QA analyst, right? You can be a performance test engineer. You know, as I've said earlier on, there is a functional and non-functional testing, right? Right. So under functional, that's where we have those levels of testing that we've discussed: unit system integration and acceptance, right? So under non-functional, we have the performance, we have the security, we have the UI UX, right? We have the all other security penetration testing and what have you. So I'm just trying to show you that they are all still software testing, but these are the careers that you can actually venture into or you can delve in as times goes on, or wherever you want to pick. We have the database tester, we have the API tester, usability and accessibility tester, automation test engineer, security penetration tester, mobile app tester, game QA analyst, domain QA. The funniest thing is that if you are saying that you are a manual or QA tester or analyst, you should be able to do API. You should be able to do database. You should be able to do usability. You should be able to do automation, even mobile. So I think most of these segregation that you are seeing on this screen is not applicable in Nigeria space. I'm quoting it now, right? I'm quoting it because if you're outside there, yes, you can say, oh, you're a game QA analyst, and everything you test is actually based on games, right? But you cannot be here in Nigeria and say, oh, you are just an API tester, like you're only testing API. Hello, hello. They will say, for where, right? So you cannot say you are just a mobile app tester. Hello, you test mobile, you test web, you will you will go and look for data on database. So you are testing database too. Even before the API has been integrated into your mobile, you will test it in Nigeria. So that's just it. So most of the times all of these are together. It's only security, penetration, and performance, right? That are being separated as it were because they are non-functional, like I said, right? In I don't know more about other companies, right? But most financial institution, right? They have the testing team, like the QA team, and they have the security team. The security team, they are the one, that cover the security part and the penetration part. The QA team, they still have maybe one or two people that does what's it called, the performance as it were. But when it comes to security or penetration testing, there is a security team that that um, that looks into that, right? So that is what I can say about this. So I think we're at the end of this. So who can tell us the difference between confirmation testing and regression testing? That's my quiz before I'll be asking for any other question. Guinea, okay. We are 145. Yes, I switched my device. So Who is going to answer this question? What's the difference between confirmation testing and regression testing?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Confirmation testing is just to confirm if a broken product that was tested previously is working fine. Or it's just to confirm, okay, is this thing working fine now? It wasn't working before, is it working fine now? So it's just to confirm what has been tested before. While regression testing, on the other hand, is to check if what was tested before, what was fixed before, has not broken another thing. Are you there?
Yes. Thank you very much. That's basically it. Confirmation is to confirm that what has been fixed is okay. The regression is to check the previous one if it is still fine. So that's actually my last slide before I change my device. I think my system is actually off. So any question from anyone so that
Hello, good afternoon, sir. My name is Martha, and I want to ask a question. Confirm if you can hear me, please.
We can hear you. Can hear you.
Okay, so my question is this. Presently, I've noticed that once you're applying to companies, they'll always want to see your portfolio, even though you have not worked in an organization before. So for us that are in this class and we started the journey, we are learning, how do we build our portfolio on the side? So that's my question. Hello? Hello, sir, did you get me?
I'm not sure if his network is connected. Let me check.
I think the network is from his side. You can all hear you actually.
Can you take your question again? Martha.
Okay, I was asking that presently companies, if you apply to them, they'll ask you for your portfolio, though you have not worked in an organization before. So my question is, how do we build a portfolio in the course of this learning journey?
Okay, thank you for that question. So initially, while I spoke in the morning, I talked about capstone project. You'll be given a capstone project. So you start building your portfolio from there. And after the completion of your bootcamp, there will be there are some testing that are volunteer. I'll also encourage you guys to get engaged in volunteering as a product tester. So I've had people like that. Okay, some friends and colleagues reach out to me. Maybe they are building some products. Then I drop it in our channel. There's a WhatsApp group channel. I drop it there for people to express their interest. And there has been countless times that those people come back and tell me that they are willing to recruit one of these testers based on their dedication while uncovering defects. So your first step is to start gathering these evidences as you're attempting all assignments, all the capstone projects. For every of our daily session, you can go to LinkedIn, write about your achievement for that day, spell out everything that you've learned, create maybe a Google Sheet link, for your portfolio. So by that, you are building your portfolio. You are making potential recruiters aware of your potential skills and your readiness to take up job opportunities. So you don't necessarily have to wait until you see that big offer. You can continue building that portfolio yourself. There are free sites online too, based on what you have gathered during this software testing bootcamp. You can also apply it to that, and with that, you structure your portfolios. So the essence in essentially the good part is whenever you have that opportunity, you land yourself an interview, you should be able to defend your skills, and you should be able to present your portfolio, and they can be convinced enough to offer you that job. So I hope I've been able to clear all your doubts on not having a portfolio yet getting an opportunity to work in an organization.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Akinbola, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Oh.
Okay, well,
but we are done actually. Is there any question for me?
Yes,
I have a question.
Okay, please.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
my
good
my
afternoon.
my name is Moses. My question is this: since quality assurance is about process driven, how do we perform verification and validation in quality assurance?
Okay, so like I said earlier, right? Testing, as it were, is part of quality assurance.
Yes. Okay.
Right? So in the testing part, in the testing phase, that's where you perform your verification and validation. You know, when we gave the definition of testing as at the beginning of the what was it called now? At the beginning of the session, we said testing is validating. Yes, that we are validating and verifying. Right?
Yes,
so quality assurance is being involved right from the beginning of a project by getting to your requirement gathering, to your design, to every other thing, even to the testing phase, even after testing, even you deploy, right? So testing is part of quality assurance, and testing involves the verification and validation.
All right. Thank you very much, brother.
Awesome.
So quality assurance is a bigger picture.
Yes.
Okay. Thank
you. So you can call yourself a quality assurance if you know that you do all these things, or you are enthusiastic about having a quality product every now and then, right? Even as a tester, also you should be concerned about the quality of what leaves your table, right? So you should be concerned about the quality of what leaves your table. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Any other question, please?
So I want to ask, how is about software testing is different from automation testing?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry.
What differentiates automation from manual testing?
Okay, so let me start from manual testing, right? So manual testing, you have your test cases written out, and you are validating or you are verifying against each of your test cases. So you are going to the system or the product, as it were. You are checking, you are passing, you are checking, you are passing, you are checking, you are passing. That is manual testing, as it were. When you say something is manual, it's just manual, right? So when you now move to automation, so automation is how am I going to put it now? So a tool is helping you, right? A tool is helping you, or you've written a tool is helping you, then you have modified the tool by writing some line of code also to help you test that system. So instead of you to get to go to a system and click the next button and see, okay, pass, click the next button, pass. A tool is helping you to do that 3-4 clicks within a second or 2 seconds and giving you a result. So that is automation. And automation, we have different tools based on frameworks and what have you. And what I always tell people is this, right? Automation is good. In fact, that is where testing is moving to. But manual can never be eroded away, right? So even most of the times before you say you want to do automation, right? It is advisable. It is advisable that you have done it in the manual way, so that you know that yes, your back and forth on automation will not be too much. You have done it in your manual way, and you can now move to automation. And also, if you say you want to do automation, is majorly, it's not that you cannot use it for other things, but it's majorly for repetitive tasks, right? So you have a product that has been built, from A to Z, right? You have manually executed it, so you write the automation script for it and you run it. Fine. You come tomorrow, oh, there is an update that we need to do on this product, so maybe we just want to have one thing done on this product. Remember when I say confirmation and regression? So we have updated one thing on this product. What's expected of us is that we test that update that we have done, which is the confirmation testing, as it were. Then we are supposed to run a regression. So instead of you to now go through your 100 test cases that you have, be running it one by one and be looking at it, since you have run it before, you have an automation script for it, just plug it in and run that regression again. So you are doing a repetitive task or a regression on that automation that is making your work much more faster. So automation is just to make your work faster, especially for repetitive tasks, as it were. So that's just a major difference. But it will be okay to first be grounded in your manual before moving to automation. Because if you say you want to move to automation directly, there are some things that you might be missing, and there are some things that human eye that can see, automation will not see it. Right. So that's just it. I'm sure as time goes on, maybe in the course of the bootcamp, maybe upper week, it might not be next week, maybe upper week, there will be session for this automation to dive in also and talk about it. I guess I answer your question, Matthew.
Oh, yes, it does. Thank you very much. So are you suggesting now that, okay, when a developer builds an app, and automation should be prioritized over manual testing?
I never said automation should be prioritized, right?
Well,
So
I'm just asking.
Sorry, I would like to add to that.
If I would advise a newcomer into QA, okay. Okay, 1 second, Snake. So if I'm to advise a new person coming into QA role, right, before moving to automation, right? So QA is going to a point of having hybrid QA, both manual and automation, right? Yes, you might see some people saying, "Oh, we need only automation engineer." There are still some advert I see outside Nigeria though that I say they need a manual tester, right? And there are still some they say, oh, they need automation. But if I would advise a new person coming into QA, be grounded first in your manual testing, then move to QA. I move to what's it called, automation. Nike, you can add to it.
Okay, as Akinbola rightly said, so it's good you build that foundation in manual. Although most people call it manual, we accept that it's manual. But if you are engaged in any discussion, it should actually not, it's not actually to be called manual testing. We call it like system testing. The system testing could be exploratory testing. Like professionally, we are not supposed to say something is manual, but it's a common term that people use today. So I want to bring it down. I don't know if you know how to drive. Do you know how to drive? You are familiar with driving. We have automatic.
I am familiar.
Yes, and manual. Is it manual? Yes. Very cool.
Yeah, manual.
Manual. So let's compare the two. Today, if you want to get the best of best drivers, they are those people that started their driving with manual. You cannot compare somebody that started with manual is more of an expert compared with somebody that started with automation. Although both of them can drive, but it will get to a junction where you have to apply some techniques in driving. A person that knows how to drive manually, we apply some techniques that somebody that just learns with automation cannot apply. So it's very vital that you start with the foundation. You must know the foundation. A lot of people today, yes, they get jobs just because maybe they came through the development. They can code, it's easy for them to navigate around automation testing. But most times when they get to interviews, they ask them the things that we are teaching you right now. They ask them, and most of them, they perform both. So it's very good that that foundation. You don't need to jump to automation. It won't make you a very exceptional QA if you jump to automation without mastering manual testing. So another example I like to cite is, I don't know if anyone is familiar with this pounding machine. There's a pounding machine. You know, you can pound yam. Like all those our women or men, even they pound yam. Like when you eat a pounded yam, pounded inside pounding machine and the normal mortar and pestle, you know it's definitely different. So it's very important that while you are getting it right, you get it right the first time, not you going about learning automation and at some point in your career you now have to repeat manual testing. So it's very essential. I would say automation is an added advantage. It's just like an added advantage with you because most organizations today, they want people to ship out things faster. And if you have automation skills, then added advantage. So it's good you learn both, but first thing first, start with manual. Perfect your manual before you rush into automation. So you don't rush out of software testing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very, very much for that valuable information. Thank you very much.
Caroline?
Yeah, good afternoon and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for this insightful information. Yeah, my own is not question though. I just want to ask that the recording and the PowerPoint can it be shared so that we can go into it later in our own layer time to dive into it very well.
Okay, I mentioned in the chat that the presentation is not shared, is maintained within the community. However, the video will be made available to you on YouTube. So I dropped a chat for you to join the WhatsApp group. I'll drop the YouTube. Once I download it from Zoom, I will share it on our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel. Maybe I should drop that as well. So just watch out for that. Let me get the YouTube channel.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Miracle, you can go next.
All right. Thank you very much for the lecture. So I have a question. The question is about when Mr. Kingston, so he mentioned unit testing, integration, system, and acceptance. So my question is how for a product now or a project, these 4 levels of testing, will they be used? Like, is it all of it that will be needed to complete a project? For example, now you're in a project and will you need the unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing? Like, will all these levels of testing be needed for a part 4? I don't know if you understand my question. For a project.
Thank you, Miracle. Right. So, if you're following me when I was defining the levels of testing, you know if they are all needed or not, right? But let me just break it down again. So, for any of the projects you're working on or anything you are testing, unit testing, it is, I don't know how to put it, it is important or it is primary. And I said it is being done by developer themselves, right? So for each line of code they develop, it's expected that they test it, and it's expected that they give the QA a report or their unit testing report, so to say. So it is important that it's being done. So integration testing, it depends on your projects. So if you're integrating with other people's system, if you're integrating with a third-party system, integrating with other people's API, with another system, another company's thing, you need to test the APIs with your own code to be sure that you can integrate it well. So it's that integration testing that it is dependent on if you are adding another outsider to what you are doing. But for the system testing, it is important that you also have to do it, because after you finish your unit, after you finish your code and what have you, that is when you now test end to end. Like you test your end to end, where you can see how the flow is going from point A to point B, point C, point D. That's system testing. Then the acceptance testing is when, we finished testing, the product owner that brought the requirement, come, let us look at it together and see that you are satisfied. So as I've said now, it is important. The three levels must be done in all of your projects. That's the unit, the system, and the acceptance. Integration, it is done when you have external parties or external system, external APIs, external things that you want to add to your own system to make it good. Maybe maybe you're building a project that you need an API that calls states and local governments, right? You do not have that in your company, so you have to rely on an external API that will give you that state and their respective local governments, so to say. Right, so that's an external API you are calling. So you have to test that because you are integrating it into what you are doing. So it's only that integration that is dependent if you are doing having an outsider or external thing to your system. But apart from that, unit, system, and integration, they are most things that you must do on any of the projects.
Okay, so that means that integration, it can also be done by the developers, because they're the ones getting those API.
Yes, integration can also, right? But the unit testing that it must be done by the developer. So the integration can either be done by dev or the QA. Yeah. So I think another Frank. I think Frank, his hands is up, or has it?